Well, we want to get you back now to the developments at our border, the surge of migrants, and the battle in the nation's capital over the policies to fix it. So joining us now, Mayor of Rio Grande City in Texas, Mr. Nichole Berlie. Mayor, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. Obviously now the Biden administration is responding, saying it's prepared for Title 42 to end, but adding that it's up to Congress to make changes to immigration law. Sir, you are there right along the border. How do you respond to that?
Well, thank you for having me on your program. And President Biden appears to have lost his appetite for addressing the border. And most regrettably, his flippant remarks relative to having more important things going on are appalling and, quite frankly, asinine. There is nothing, absolutely nothing more important than national security. And it's only a matter of time before our global enemies exploit our broken immigration system to inflict pain on Americans. National security is our prime directive, and we must preserve, protect, and defend our borders and American interests, no matter the cost. Now, fortunately, we do have the brave men and women of CBP who preserve, protect, and defend our borders 24/7, and they do a phenomenal job. And by the way, we must support them at every level. And in fact, we must support all our law enforcement agencies who place their lives on the line for the sake of others. And again, they do a phenomenal job, and the strength of a municipality is synonymous with the strength of its law enforcement community. Now, the fact is, yes, if and when Title 42 ends, we will have an influx of immigrants. And in fact, they are amassing already by the thousands here in Mexico, not even a mile from where I sit here today or tonight. So they're coming. The fact is, it's going to happen. Now, Congress has been ineffective. Congress has been useless when it comes to addressing our broken immigration system. So then it behooves the president, the White House, whether it's through executive order, to address these crises. Because, by the way, it is a self-inflicted crisis. Right now, this can turn on a dime simply by establishing policies. Going back to our policies, our border policies are extremely fickle because our policies flow directionally with a change of White House administrations. Bottom line is we need to have policies in place.
There is this temporary pause now on the end to Title 42, but how long do you think it should stay in effect? Is there a reasonable end date from your perspective?
At this point, this is all we have. It's the only tool that we have, remain in Mexico, Title 42, and they are effective in addressing these large influxes. Now, it's incumbent upon Congress acting. Unfortunately, Congress has not. And I put it on Congress, by the way. They've been ineffective, both sides of the aisle. Democrats, Republicans refuse to address our broken immigration system, and it's on them. But at this point, the president has to act and take action, because if not, we know what's coming. Right. It's already here, and if we don't address this crisis is going to be unsustainable. It is untenable to have these influxes, and especially small municipalities where we don't have the financial resources to address the needs of immigrants coming in, especially if you're looking at thousands of them.
Mayor, people on both sides of this, agree that Title 42 is not really the long-term solution here. What do you think is?
Comprehensive immigration reform, absolutely, but unfortunately, that's the long-term solution. But in the meantime, we need to address it as far as the remain in Mexico, keep it in place, keep Title 42 in place as well, whether it's through executive order. But Congress needs to act. And at this point, stop with the asinine political mudslinging and just address it. It is time, even though neither party has delivered comprehensive immigration reform in several decades. But it's about time that we address this on a long-term basis. Looking at our asylum laws, our immigration laws, our visa programs, for example. Visa overstays account for almost half of the population living here in the U.S. illegally. Right. And we average close to 1 million visa overstays annually. But again, this is something that we must do, take it on, and it's time for Congress to act.
Well, we heard it right there. It's time for Congress to act. I hate to cut you off, Mayor. We ran out of time, but we thank you so much for your time. I know this is an issue that does impact you firsthand. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.